What's up, dirt junkies? We're out on trail today and I thought it would be a perfect time to share 10 things that used to suck about backpacking and what I've done to fix them. Some of these are totally free, others cost just a few dollars, and yeah, a few are gear upgrades that I really wish I'd known about sooner because they make a big difference. But I promise this isn't one of those just buy more things to solve all your trail problems kind of videos. And you know me, whenever I mention gear upgrades, I will definitely include budget-friendly options because I'm cheap. So hopefully by watching this video, it can help you fix some of these problems as well, or even better, avoid them altogether. The first one we have got to talk about is ticks and mosquitoes. I have dealt with both of these. In Utah, I remember some backpacking trips where mosquitoes were just buzzing everywhere. I was swatting, I was trying not to sit still too long, I was trying to move, I was huddling in my tent, and I hated those trips because I couldn't just enjoy the trip. Living in Virginia, in this kind of greenery, you can imagine the ticks here can be pretty bad. I got one just the other day mowing my lawn. And so without the proper precautions on trail, I'm constantly worried about getting a tick, getting Lyme disease. Am I gonna see it? Am I gonna find it? Am I gonna have to try and pull it out in the dark in my quilt? And I don't like thinking about that on trail. I found two things that make it so I don't give mosquitoes or ticks a second thought when I'm on trail. The first one is picaridin lotion. This stuff is awesome. It lasts for 14 hours. It's effective against both mosquitoes and ticks. I started with just a little 4-ounce bottle and I loved it so much, and I'm on trail so often that I actually got a big 32-ounce bottle with a pump, and then I just refill the smaller ones. I'll put a link to a video where I go in more detail about this type of lotion, how to apply it, when I use it, right up here, and I'll also put links to all the videos that I reference in the pinned comment in the description below, so you don't have to try and keep track of them all. You can just check out the list later. The second product we need to talk about is permethrin. This stuff is tick and mosquito magic. It's a product that you spray on your gear and clothing that actually kills ticks and mosquitoes when they encounter it. And the great thing is it lasts several washes, 5 or 6 washes, or up to 6 weeks. So when things start warming up in the spring, I'll treat my clothing and then it's good for 6 weeks. Now you can get a ready to spray, ready to use mix from Sawyer, I believe, in a yellow bottle, or you can buy it in a concentrate form, mix your own, and save a bunch of money. You want to make sure that the concentrate you get is water-based, not petroleum-based, so always double check the labels. I haven't been able to find that on Amazon lately, but I'll put a link to Tractor Supply where I've been able to find that. So those two things, picaridin lotion and then treating your gear and clothing with permethrin. Now, some people talk a lot about DEET. DEET can actually degrade and ruin your gear and clothing. I don't use DEET, I don't like it. Picaridin lotion, permethrin to treat your gear and clothing, that is the magic 1-2 punch against ticks and mosquitoes. Ever since I started using it, I have not gotten a single tick on trail, and mosquitoes just have not even bothered me. Wow. All right, now if ticks and mosquitoes make you a little squeamish, the next one might get you as well, but then I promise we'll get away from the grosser stuff. The next thing we gotta talk about is poopy butt. If you've experienced this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. On a backpacking trip, when all you're using is toilet paper and just pushing the poo around, that is a recipe for disaster. After a couple of days, things get a little sore, a little chafed, and it's just not good. We could talk about creams and salves and balms, but really who wants to be spreading creams and salves and balms around down there on your backpacking trip and then using your hands to eat food? You know what I'm saying? The magic trick here is nothing more complicated than wet wipes. You gotta make sure you pack these out just like you should be packing your toilet paper out when you poop on trail. But seriously, wet wipes make such a huge difference. They're super cheap and you can get them at your grocery store. I've found that a travel pack of 20 wipes works perfectly. Just in case your grocery store doesn't have them or something, I'll put a link below to where you can get a pack of, I think, 10 travel-sized packs from Amazon. Pretty cheap, and then you should have enough for all of your backpacking trips. Another tip I'll give you is I never use a full pack on a backpacking trip. So I'll bring them home, I'll try to seal them. If they dry out, that's all right. I just put a little water in there before my next backpacking trip, and then they're wet and ready to go. Another thing you could try is a backcountry bidet. I've gotten one because I want to try that, and I would love to try to reduce waste, but it's not something I've been able to try on trail yet. And if you're backpacking with friends and they only brought toilet paper, give them a wipe or two. Friends don't let friends get poopy butt. You know what I mean? And moving on from what comes out to what we put into our bodies when we're on our backpacking trips. We've all been on a trip where all of a sudden we just feel exhausted. We bonk, we hit the wall, we can't make it up the climb. Whew. All right, we are struggling up this climb. isn't a big one either. Or maybe you haven't been there. I definitely have, and I don't like that. Now, some days are just exhausting. That's part of the beauty of it, at least for me. I've not recorded very much since the bottom of the ravine because it was a freaking grind. My previous plan to solve this problem was just take as much food as I could carry, buy what looks good, and then eat as much as I can while I'm on trail. Needless to say, this hasn't always served me as well as I would hope. What I do now, and what makes a massive difference, is I pay attention to carbs, fats, proteins, and then I scan it all, put it into an app like Chronometer, Chronometer, I never know how to pronounce it. I'll put a link to it below. It's free, I don't get anything. You could use MyFitnessPal, any other nutrition tracking app. I just pick a day out in the future and I scan all of my food in to see how many calories I'm getting, the different nutrients I'm getting, and see where I'm lacking. And another thing I really pay attention to when I'm doing that is my electrolytes, especially sodium and potassium. I used to kind of just assume that if I drank a bunch of Tailwind during my trip, that would give me the sodium and potassium that I needed. What I learned by using the app is that even with all the Tailwind I was drinking, I was not getting near enough electrolytes to replace what I was losing. Here's a picture of all the salt deposits you can see on my sun hoodie during a backpacking trip in the Uintas. You can see I lost a ton of salt, and I know for sure I did not replace all of that. So I started taking salt tab, and in planning out my nutrition, I realized I should probably take 1 tab every hour. If you're hiking hard and a heavy sweater like me, I aim for 700 milligrams of sodium every hour of hiking. That is a ton. So taking a salt tab every hour and then having a drink that's just dedicated to electrolytes. Relight is my current favorite because it's all natural, doesn't have any weird stuff, and has some excellent flavors. I'll put a link to that below as well. Has made it so I can keep my electrolyte levels steady. So to fix this problem, you probably don't even have to buy anything new unless you feel like you need more electrolytes from salt tabs or something like that. Just download a free app like Chronometer, MyFitnessPal, plan out new nutrition. I should also say that in recent months I've taken it a step further and really tried to replace all the refined sugar, saturated fats, other things on my diet that aren't good for my heart because I'm old and have to worry about that now, with a lot healthier trail choices. All natural, whole grains, fiber, lots of protein, those kinds of things. If you want to get more info about that, you can check out our recent video I did about heart healthy backpacking. Another problem that would really mess up a backpacking trip for me was getting blisters in between my toes. I don't know if you've ever had the pleasure of an in between the toe blister, or I even have a situation where the nails on one of my toes would start cutting into the toe next to it, and that hurt. I'd wrap band-aids around it, the band-aids would come off. I'd wrap athletic tape around it, the athletic tape would come off. Finally, I discovered toe socks. Man, my feet are happy. I have never gotten a blister in between my toes. I also totally avoid that problem of one nail cutting the toe next to it. It's just not a problem anymore. I'll put a link to a few of my favorites and tell you about them below. So the first ones that I tried were the Injinji mid-weight trail socks. I love those socks. I have used them a ton. In fact, I wore this one pair for my entire 100-mile thru hike of the Uinta Mountains, and this was the last night. They were basically standing up on their own, which is a little gross, but also speaks to just how much I love them. I still do love them. They're part of my regular rotation, but they're a little expensive. I think it's totally worth it, but I wanted to find something more budget-friendly. So I found these on Amazon, which are basically an Injinji mid-weight trail sock duped. I think those are the ones I'm wearing right now. Boom. I checked the link yesterday and it seemed to be a little bit different. So I ordered these, and they're taller, but they're basically the same feel. I really like them. I haven't tested them extensively on the trail yet, but I think they're gonna hold up really well. So that's a nice budget-friendly option. My current favorites are a little bit lighter because these mid-weights, especially for summer trips, were just a little heavy, a little thick. The Injinji lightweight, I really, really like these. I'll wear the taller ones if I think I'm gonna have to deal with ticks in the area, or I have the shorter, I think they're called crew length as well. Those are probably the ones that I wear the most right now. I always find myself wondering if other people wear toe socks or have tried toe socks before. If you wear them or if you've tried them, I would love to know in the comments. If you haven't tried them and you never will because you just think they're weird, I'd love to know that as well. Let me know in the comments. What do you think about toe socks? I love them. They've saved my feet from so much grief. Moving from the soles of our feet up to our head, another thing that has plagued me on trips, and could be it, and probably better I solved it before now, is getting sunburn on my face and on my neck. Now, I know that sunblock is an easy solution, but I just hated putting it on backpacking trips. It's greasy, you get it on your hands, and then it's like, okay, I gotta rinse my hands, I gotta sanitize my hands, then put sunblock on, rinse my hands again. It's just a big mess. And so I just wouldn't do it. But I found a couple of fantastic solutions. One is a sunscreen stick from Blue Lizard. You can pick these up on Amazon. It's basically like a small deodorant stick. You can just wipe it on your face, and then if you need to, move that around a little bit, but it's not greasy and gross, and then your food doesn't taste like sunblock afterwards. I mean, you know that greasy, gross sunblock feeling. I hate it. So I love the Blue Lizard sunblock stick. No mess, no fuss, and it works really, really well. Now, if you're a diehard sunblock lotion person, go for it. I have also found a sunblock lotion that I really like. It's called Beach Defense, I think. It's 70 SPF, but it's not oily, and it works really well, even for my exposed scalp, forehead, and it doesn't feel gross and oily. In addition to sunblock, or if you're still sunblock opposed, another fantastic thing I started wearing on my trips was a sun hoodie. And I just wear the hood most of the day. It's kind of comfortable, keeps you a little bit cool in the sun, and it blocks the sun off your neck and your face. It's fantastic. This green one that I'm wearing is mostly merino wool from an awesome company called Ridge Merino. If you want to try a merino wool hoodie, I definitely love this one. It's got thumb holes in it, which I really like, and it just fits really well. As you probably know, merino wool can be a little bit expensive, so just be prepared for that. If I remember right, this hoodie was $100. There are some great budget-friendly options. In fact, the one I'm wearing right now, this is the Sun hoodie from 32 Degrees. It's got a nice big hood on it, as you can see. Love this hoodie. The hoodie's oversized, it's got drawstrings so you can tighten it. I think this one cost me $12, $10, something like that. Really cheap from 32 Degrees. So yeah, 2 sun hoodies across the price spectrum. The thing I like about this one is it's got this big kangaroo pouch down here. So you can fit a ton of stuff in this kangaroo pouch. I really like that. Or even just put your hands in there to warm up. There are no thumb holes. I do wish there were thumb holes. That would make this hoodie perfect, but that's all right. It's affordable, comfortable, synthetic, dries easy. Even on hot days, this would work really well just to protect you from the sun and not be too hot while wicking moisture away from your body. Really like this budget-friendly sun hoodie. The next thing we should talk about is getting cold at night. I hate that. Now, of course, this is one area where you could easily just spend a ton of money, right? Drop 250 bucks on a sleeping pad, drop $400 on a new quilt or a new sleeping bag, and then you are ready to rock and roll. But who's got 500 bucks to drop on a sleep system? So let's talk about some cheap things you can do to upgrade your system, and then if you want to, maybe some budget-friendly options for getting a warmer sleeping pad as well. One thing I started doing that does make a big difference is just taking a beanie on trail to wear at night. Or I'll take some gloves so I can wear those at night, and then also socks. But don't just wear the socks you wore during the day, just bring an extra pair of socks to wear at night. Super cheap, beanie, gloves, socks. Wear some to bed. They'll help keep you warm. Now, often the culprit of sleeping cold at night is your sleeping pad, but maybe you like your sleeping pad and don't want to buy a new one. One thing you can do is get one of these folding accordion type foam pads, closed cell foam pads, which are pretty light, less than a pound, I think, and just add it to your current sleep system. Now, I've tried sleeping with the foam pad under the inflatable and the foam pad on top of the inflatable. I feel like it's warmer sleeping with it on top. These foam pads have an R value of 2, which means you could be upping your sleep system by 2. If your current sleeping pad has an R value of 3, all of a sudden you've got an R value of 5, which is so much warmer. Most cheap pads that you get on Amazon probably only have an R value of 2 or maybe even less than 2. Adding a folding closed cell foam pad on top of your current sleeping pad can make a big difference. The other thing I've heard you can do, and I actually bought some because I want to try it, but I haven't yet, is just putting a little bit of Reflectix, that's shiny bubble wrap type stuff, similar to the closed cell foam pad. Now, it's not as thick, it's not meant for this, so really estimates range from about 0.5 to 1 as far as the amount of R value that you add to your sleep system by adding a strip of Reflectix. But it is quite a bit cheaper. The closed cell foam pad is about $30. I'll put a link to a budget-friendly one that I've used. I think it's from a company called Red Camp. You can get the Thermarest Z Lite, but I think it's 50 or 60 bucks. I have both. They seem exactly the same to me. So I'd save yourself 20 bucks and get the Red Camp. The Reflectix, you can get a 10-foot roll of it for, I think, 10 bucks. So it's quite a bit cheaper, but not as effective, and it's not something I've used before. But it's something I want to try. And then if you're looking just for a sleeping pad upgrade, a pad that I found after looking for a comfortable, warmer upgrade from my Trekology, which is my favorite sleeping pad, is the Perea Recharge XL. It's this yellow pad. It's got a higher R value, still not super high, and so when it's going to be really cold at night, I pair it with a closed cell foam pad. But the combo of those two has been super effective even on really cold winter trips. And if you want to see a video where I review that pad further, as well as the Trekology and a more expensive option from REI that also has a higher R value, I'll put a link to that below. It's a $40 pad, $100 pad, and $150 pad. Some great options at 3 different price points. Continue with our sleep system. I think we're on number 7, right? It's got to be number 7. The other thing I encountered was just not being comfortable at night. And after a long day of backpacking, when you're exhausted and you just want to rest, that can be really frustrating. I had been using a pillow that basically just felt like a balloon or a pool toy that wasn't very comfortable. And I realized that all the pads I was buying were not very thick, probably 2 inches thick at the most. It was such a light bulb moment for me when I realized I could buy a thicker sleeping pad. The Trekology UL80, my favorite budget-friendly pad. It's $40. It's 4 inches thick. It curves up a little bit on the sides. It's so comfortable. I'm usually a side sleeper, and I can sleep on this 4-inch thick pad. My hip, my knees, my shoulder, none of it ever touches the ground. Where on those thinner pads, it would, and it just wasn't comfortable. I compared it to 3 other budget-friendly pads, and the Trekology was the clear winner. And then the other thing is the pillow system. That balloon pool toy pillow was just not cutting it. Yeah, they're light, they don't take up a lot of space in the pack, but man, if you're not sleeping well, is that even worth it? I feel like good sleep is probably worth a few extra ounces in the pack, you know? So I was on the hunt to find something that resembled a real pillow. What I found was the Teton Sports Camp pillow. This thing has been on every backpacking trip with me since I got it. Now I pair it with another budget-friendly option, the Gear Doctors inflatable. If you've watched any of my videos, you've probably heard me talk about this combo. In fact, I did a full video just about it because it's so comfortable. Even when I'm a side sleeper, all this space between my head and the ground, this pillow combination fills that space. So if you're not sleeping comfortable at night, see how thick your sleeping pad is, maybe get a thicker one, and then check out your pillow setup. Are you sleeping on a balloon pool toy thing, or does it actually feel like a pillow? I'm betting you could use something like the Teton Sports Camp pillow. From sleeping at night to walking on trail during the day, my feet would hurt. All that extra weight on my back, all the miles in my feet would just hurt. And I mean, if you're pushing hard, that's just gonna happen. But I found that it would make a big difference if I got wider toe box shoes. That's all I've used for the last, I don't know, 5 years. It makes such a big difference. It doesn't feel like my feet just want to be released from their shoes at the end of the day. They're comfortable and they're still awesome for the trail. So wide toe box trail runners. For a long time I used Ultras. They're kind of the king of wide toe box shoes. I got tired of the durability issues and so found some awesome shoes from a company called Topo. I think it's Topo, I don't know. I prefer zero drop shoes, so I go for the Topo Pursuit. Right now it's the Topo Pursuit 2. Man, I love these shoes. It's actually what I'm wearing right now. So yeah, those are my favorite wide toe box shoes. If you're not into zero drop, they also make an excellent shoe that is not zero drop called the Topo Mountain Racer 3, and you can check that one out. And now if you don't want to buy new $150 shoes, the other thing you can do is, one, just stop, take your shoes off every once in a while and rub them out. Really dig into the arches, really get in between the toes, and just massage your feet every once in a while. I found that just 5 or 10 minutes of that during a trail break makes a big difference. The other thing I love is a cork massage ball. They're cheap, light, don't take up space in the pack, but feel so good on the feet. You can just find a rock somewhere like I did here to roll your feet out. You can do it inside your tent. It really helps my feet recover, feel better for the next day. Another thing that was annoying on trail was not being able to reach my trekking poles when I wanted them, or ending up holding onto them longer than I wanted because I didn't want to take my pack off, stow the trekking poles, and then put my pack back on. And for a while, to solve this problem, I would look for packs that had some sort of storage system that was accessible right here in the front without having to take my backpack off. Osprey packs have it, you can get it on some other packs as well. And then I realized I could make that on all of my packs. So I tried a few different things, got some bungee cords, some toggles, and then figured out a system that works fantastic. I can stow my trekking poles right here under my armpit. They're not in the way. I can grab them really easy. I can stow them really easy, and it works perfectly. And it only cost me about $15 worth of stuff. And they were so awesome, I made a video about how to do it super easy, along with 2 other mods, and I'll put a link to that video below, as well as a link to the shot cord and toggles I used to do it. So easy, so simple. If you use trekking poles, I don't know why you wouldn't do this on all of your packs. I have, and I love it. The next one has to do with another item that a lot of us use on trail and can cause some problems, the Sawyer Squeeze filter. It's a fantastic filter, great flow rate, long lifespan, but man, sometimes that thing can get clogged. I know that it comes with this little syringe thing you can use to try and backflush it. I've tried it a few times and I feel like it's not even that great. I'll be honest and admit that I have never taken that thing on trail because it's so big and bulky, and I found something so much better. You can buy this coupling. There's one that's made by Sawyer. Last time I checked on Amazon a couple days ago, it said it wasn't available anymore, but you can get some knockoff versions that are basically the same thing, because all it is a coupling. You screw one end to your smart water bottle, and then you screw the other end to the typically outflow side of your Sawyer Squeeze filter, and then you squeeze some clean, not dirty, water through your filter going the reverse way. It's awesome because it's small enough that you can take it on trail. It's not annoying. You can just kind of put it with your repair kit or your ditty bag or whatever. It's cheap. I think the Sawyer one is like $3, or you can get a pack of 10 for $10. They're so cheap, so small, and it works awesome. If you missed my budget to bougie gear loadout for the Foothills Trail, where I use a lot of this gear and a lot of these tips and tricks that I talked about in this video, check that out right down here. If you want to check out an ultralight, budget-friendly loadout, click right down here. And if you haven't subbed yet, click right up here. Remember, life is better with some dirt in it.